Hey there, welcome back. Ternessa, my lovely wife. And today we just wanted to have a conversation about Funko and the direction that they're going in, or the
Hmm.
direction they're steamrolling into,
Yeah,
as it seems like. There's so much.
yeah.
And they have so many product lines and so many franchises out there that it's getting to be overwhelming. Now, we're not trying to crush your spirits if you're a Funko collector. Obviously, we collect them. There's a bunch back there in the background. We like collecting Funko Pops, but there's a limit to that. It's getting to be, I think, overwhelming
Yeah, out of
with
control.
the number of product lines that Funko has been coming out with.
Hmm.
Now, there's a lot of arguments for Funko Pop collecting. I've heard some people do videos where they
Hmm.
talk about, oh, why it's so great to collect Funko Pops. And I can really kind of counter almost everything on that list. For one thing, they say it's easy to display.
It's not.
It's not easy to display. They don't fit anywhere. They're small. They're like these little boxes,
Hmm.
but they take up a lot of space as a group, and they don't conform to shelves. You can
Hmm.
stack them. People stack them like floor to ceiling, and then the ones on the bottom rows start getting crushed.
Yeah,
It's
and you
not.
can't see it clearly if it's sitting flat on the floor. It needs to be raised. I like them raised, so when I display mine, I found that a CD DVD shelf is best
Yeah, CD shelf.
because it doesn't sit so far back, and then I raise that up.
And then if the shelf isn't right width wise,
Yeah, you
then
gotta
you
do
end
big
up with
gaps.
gaps. Like you see the one right here. There's gaps in between those, and it doesn't look so bad from here, but when you get up close, if you push them over, you have almost enough space for another pop. You get two about
Oh, half
half
an
a
inch,
space.
yeah.
It doesn't look right. um
And then the price, it's not as cheap as
no.
what people say it is. I mean, you can find sometimes on clearance, we found some for like $1,
Hmm.
but the ones that are dollars, the ones
Nobody
that people
wants.
want.
Clear, so that's another point that a lot
Yeah,
of people bring up. Oh, it's so cheap to collect them. It really isn't. If
yeah,
you're getting one or
yeah, it's
two,
cheap.
but when you want to buy a set, is it cheap anymore? If you're a completist, and most people are, you want to get everything from that set,
Yeah.
it gets out of control.
Or if it's a small set, like Viking was a small set, there's
Yeah,
only four in there.
and no
But
chases.
yeah, and no chases.
Hmm.
But then you couldn't find all of them. Like when I went out looking for it, the only two that I could find in the store was Rolo and Nasir.
Yeah,
You couldn't find Lagatha and Ragnar.
yeah,
So you have to go online. And then it's like some of them, because the Smurfs are out.
yes,
We haven't seen any Smurfs in the store. We actually bought ours on eBay
yeah.
for a very good price. But
Cheaper than retail.
yeah, but they're not in the stores at all. So some pops seem to make it to the stores
And some
and
don't.
others don't. And it's like, what's up with that?
Yeah, the other argument is that they're so original.
Yeah, they're not
They're
original.
really not original, and I actually have a few examples here. This is the 1976 Mattel Chatterchums figurine with a big head of a classic character. This is 1970, I think it's also 1976. The General Mills Count Chocula vinyl in the box. Very difficult to find these in the box, but they made them. This is the little Sprout from the 70s also out of the box. Just as a few examples, if I had some Remcos here, I could show you. If you look up Remco figurine, they did pop culture items in a little window box again in the 60s.
Hmm.
They did the Munsters, they did the Beatles, they did the Monkees, they even did political figures. It's not an original concept.
Yeah.
They make so many lines. It's like they're grasping at straws, and they
Hmm.
don't need to because they produce figures that you
Yeah.
sit there and you're like, why did you make that?
Yeah. Like Baywatch, The Golden
Yeah,
Girls, Saved by the Bell. I mean, I did watch Saved by the Bell and Golden Girls
but I don't want
growing
an
up.
action figure
Right.
collection
I
of them.
don't want pops of the. I don't want anything from that. I don't want a collector's plate or a spoon or anything. So it's like, why did you make those pops when it was others that, were more popular, like Knight Rider? You could have took advantage of
Mm-hmm.
that and made a pop ride with Michael Knight and Kit. That would have sold. I think that would fly off of the shelves. You could do Dukes of Hazzard.
Yeah,
Do
yeah.
a pop.
I don't know about Dukes of Hazzard right now. There's
You could do a pop
too much
ride
mess.
with the General Lee and Bo and Luke Duke.
Uh-huh.
If you didn't do Uncle Jesse and everybody else, but that
Mm-hmm.
whole line would be good. But it's like opportunities are out there that they just totally disregard.
And then you have missed opportunities in their lines also, I
Like The
think.
Walking Dead, they
Oh,
missed a
Jesus.
major opportunity. They did, and I think I mentioned this before. They did Negan and Carl
Yeah, the
two-pack.
two-pack.
Okay, they did two commons in one box. Where if they would have did better if they took the Negan, put him in a white shirt with a plate full of biscuits, and Carl with a missing eye, and everybody that watched the show would know why those two pops are together.
Yeah, because
it shows the
that's why they
episode.
made the two-pack in the first place,
Mhm.
was a reference to that specific episode.
Right.
Kind of like how the sock puppet Murdoch from the A-Team
Mhm.
is a specific episode reference. But people are looking at that, and I read a lot of reviews where people are like, Funko, what the hell are you doing?
Uh-huh.
Why you just took two commons, why didn't you switch these up a little bit?
Yeah, but they missed a big opportunity there. They could have did if they wanted to do Carl and Negan, and that's just an example. I'm pretty sure there's way more out there.
Sure.
That would have been a good one, and people that watched the show would totally get that because it related to the episode where Negan was cooking and he forced Carl to not wear his eye patch, and it was like, oh, okay, that was a
that would have
good
been cool.
idea.
It would have been that hard.
But they took two commons and just put it in one box and was like, oh yeah, here you go.
Yeah, and the other one, if you could hand me Gargamel there, I was thinking about this because we got the Smurf sets because Smurf fans, we grew up in that era. Why isn't Gargamel a 6-inch pop?
Yeah.
Why is Gargamel the same size as the rest of the Smurfs? And then you have Astro Smurf. There is no Astro Smurf.
Mm-hmm.
This is actually Dreamy. If you watch the show or you've read the stories, you know that this is Dreamy Smurf. There is no Astro Smurf. This is Dreamy Smurf in one of his costumes. And it was the introduction to the Smurfs because he was imagining, they helped him to imagine going to another world. And it also scares me because they've got six of these, well 7, because there's a variant on the he's not even pictured. The Gnap. Yeah, the Gnap. He's back there. He's not even pictured on the box, the Gnap. But there's a variant on the Gnap that's available only in Australia, which is this one, the black one. And this is an episode specific figure. The one episode had the Gnap. And it kind of scares me in a way because there's a lot of Smurfs.
If you think about it, you can actually remember maybe 30 of them.
Yeah, off the top of your head, unless you read the stories.
Yeah.
There's 99 regular Smurfs, Papa, then Smurfette because she's not technically a Smurf. Then there's the 3 little kids and the baby.
Baby Smurf.
And then the human characters. There's the king. There's his squire.
The witch.
The Hogatha, Big Mouth, and then them in various costumes and incantations. Like I just pointed out, Dreamy Smurf is that Astro Smurf. How many costumes did Dreamy Smurf wear?
Yeah.
This is something that could blow up into like a Star Wars scenario.
Oh God, I hate the Star Wars because one, I don't watch Star Wars. Mm-hmm. I've never seen it. Mm-hmm. So then you go to the store and it's like 1 million of them and it's everywhere and it seems like it's a new one every time and it's
constantly
other characters, other shows that you could be working on. And that's just my thing. It's like, why you focus so much on Star? And I guess if I was a Star Wars fan, it would make sense. But because I'm not, it's like you're overproducing it.
And even if you are a Star Wars fan, does it make sense? Because I was thinking about that too, and that ties in with the Pops being so inexpensive, as they say. Let's pretend that you're a Star Wars collector and you get all of them. By the end of this year, that number would be about 300. How much does that cost? If you spent an average of, say, and I'm just guesstimating because you can get them as cheap as like around $9 at Walmart, and some of them, the 3-pack at Walmart's like 25.
Yeah.
And they have vehicles and they have other stuff that they do. So let's just round it into a middle price and say you spent an average
of $10.
Of no, that's too low. An average of $15 a piece. Factor tax and how places like Hot Topic gouge you on the price, for example.
Yeah, it is like $13.
Yeah, they're getting more and more expensive at Hot Topic. But say you paid an average of $15 a piece. You got lucky. You didn't have to get any aftermarket, right? 300 of them by the end of this year. That's $4,500. That's $4,500 for 300 Pops. If you are a real hardcore Star Wars collector, what would you do with an extra $4,500? You could go get some vintage carded stuff from the 70s and 80s. You could find a few really nice pieces for your collection, but instead you've got 300 Pops and nowhere to put them. You know,
yeah.
I
mean, that's
I don't
300
know.
of one figure. I mean,
well,
not one figure, sorry. One line.
One line.
And so it's like you have no variety. Again, if you just want Star Wars, then that's fine. But
yeah.
I think it's more opportunities out there. There are different lines that they could do. They could do cow and chicken. They could do Two Stupid Dogs. Cool. That was a good show.
Yeah, I remember Two Stupid Dogs.
Was great.
I remember the episode with the soup bowl. The giant billboard with a fake soup bowl, and they wanted to fill it up, see if they could make real soup. But it gets overwhelming. Like the Street Fighter, I'm working on the Street Fighter back there, and right there, and every time I think I'm done, there's another one.
Yeah.
And they don't even complete the set because there's Street Fighter figures they haven't even touched on. But meanwhile, I got 1, 2, 3. 3 different Ryus plus a Ryu in a 2-pack, and then 3 other Ryus I don't have, including the Chase.
Yeah, and that just goes to their overproduction, like Crash Bandicoot.
Yeah, a lot of people upset about Crash Bandicoot.
I played that game, and they got like 5 different Crash Bandicoots?
6 different
crashes, plus one other
and
person.
Then one other character.
And it's like, and they're all coming out at one time. It's like, why do you need 5? Or 6 of one character. You know, and Batman. I'm not a Batman fan either. But you have Batman, and you got like 10 of them. They're just different colors. It's the exact same.
And I'm not even scratching the surface on Batman, and I'm getting kind of worn out with it. It's like, oh Jesus, you know, how do you keep up?
So it's like, venture off. If you want to do a particular line, great. But I'm pretty sure there's more than one character on that program or in that video game, on that TV series that you could actually do and people would actually remember. And back to completing lines, they never finished up like The Simpsons and The Family Guy. And The Simpsons was a big show. It's still a big show.
Yeah, it's still on the air.
And they have a lot of characters that they could have made.
Yeah.
And they just failed.
They just didn't do it. They just kind of dropped it.
Yeah.
Or Sonic. They never got back to Sonic.
Sonic, you know,
that was a popular one. Very popular. Those Pops are quite a bit now.
Yeah, and how far are they going to go with Masters of the Universe? There's a million.
And then Masters of the Universe. Masters of the Universe, though, that's one of the few that they're kind of doing right, because it's like a trickle down thing. It's every once in a while another one comes out. It's not totally overwhelming, because it's like I'm at the point now when Funko has its information, you know, because we're in like the Funko
News.
Club or whatever it is, and the Funko News. It's like every day they're showing something else, and then you open the thing and you're like, please don't be something I want, because it's too much. You can't get everything.
Yeah.
Another thing that's getting overwhelming, another thing that's getting to be a problem, I should say,
Uh-huh.
is that people are getting so overwhelmed with it that they're totally bailing.
Yeah, they're totally giving up
They're just
because
completely
so
giving up.
much is coming out at one time, and then they have no rhyme and reason with how they put stuff out.
Hmm.
It's like, oh, let's just toss some stuff out, and then they like to play games. Um, we're gonna put this out on October 1st, and then you try to pre-order it, and it shows on the pre-order that it's coming out on October 1st, and then you go back and check on it closer to October 1st, and then it has a November 5th release date.
Hmm.
So it's like, why play these games?
Or they
Just say when you're gonna
or
put
they
it
tell
out.
you it's later and it comes out earlier, or they
Yeah,
release it and then they pull it back, like they did with that
Tom Server.
Pennywise,
Oh yeah,
and
Pennywise.
that's right, the
Tom
Tom
Servo.
Crow figure or whatever
Yeah.
it was
So
that
they play
they
these little
recalled.
games. It's like nobody wants to do all that. Just put the figures out.
And I got these trading partners. I trade with people sometimes, and you
Mhm.
should have trading partners to unload some stuff sometimes. And I brought a lot of Funko Pops to this guy, and then he told me recently he doesn't want any more. You know what
Yeah.
I'm talking about.
Yeah.
He doesn't want any more because too many people are bringing them to him. And he was like, they're just giving up. And he's like bringing them hundreds at a time because they just, you get to a point where it's like, oh, I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
I can't keep up. Warren was
Mm.
complaining about that. And he's got a bunch of them,
Mm.
and he was all into it. And now he was like, you know what? I just, there's so many that they've already done, and it just keeps coming, keeps coming, keeps coming. I don't think I want to bother anymore. That's what he said. He was like, I
Yeah,
don't think I want to bother anymore because it's like you can't go back and get the ones you missed
because
because,
they're super expensive. They're
yeah,
ridiculous.
the, the earlier ones are too expensive.
Yeah.
And then the newer ones, there's wave after wave after wave.
Yeah.
You can't keep up with it.
And that's why it's good not to have a a wide range. Like me,
Hmm.
my range is very narrow. I only buy the ones that for shows that I watched,
Hmm.
movies or I don't really play video games, but movies, TV shows, cartoons that I actually watched. And I've seen people that buy every single one, or this one looks good, that one looks good, so I'll buy it. And it's like, to me, that's not the reason to buy something because then you're going to get overwhelmed and then you lose space and then you end up getting rid of it. Probably, sometimes you can get rid of it at a higher price than you bought it. Sometimes you can't,
Yeah, and there's
you
no
know.
telling how many there are.
And I mean, I'm not going to get rid of the ones that I have, but I am
Hmm.
going to drastically slow down. I have a list of what, about 15?
Yeah.
And once I get those 15, I'm going to just, I'm not going to really get too much more unless something really that excites me comes out. I'm not gonna try and get the ones that I don't have anymore. Not unless I see it's only like 3 that I don't have that I really want. I'll look it up every so often. If it comes down to a price that I think is reasonable or I'm willing to pay, then I'll buy it. But other than that, I'm not gonna do. I'm after December, well, January 1st, because there's a few coming out in December that I do want.
Hmm.
But after that, I'm reining it back in because it is out of control. It is overwhelming.
Yeah, and I've done that as well because I had the Street Fighter. I like the classic video games. I didn't get any of the Tekken.
Yeah, and
I
I
did,
wanted
I
Tekken because
skipped.
I did
Yeah,
play Tekken and the new one that's out with Bushido Blade. What's his name?
you mean Mortal Kombat?
Mortal Kombat.
Hmm. Shadow
Um,
Blade.
I don't know. Well, Bushido Blade was in there,
But
but those 2 games I did play, and I
yeah,
did
and
consider getting it.
Mortal Kombat too, because I'm like, oh, that'd be really cool.
Yeah,
But I mean, they're still grinding them out
Street
for the Street
Fighter.
Fighter. And how long are they going to drag out Mortal Kombat 2?
Yeah,
It's just like, is that going to be overwhelming? Am I going to have anywhere to
probably.
display it?
Yeah,
Am I going to
probably.
have trouble finding decent boxes? And that's another thing. That's another issue.
Because most likely it's going to be at GameStop or Best Buy
Yeah.
because they do a lot of games.
And the boxes I've always had a complaint about their flimsy boxes.
Yeah.
And they can do better because the Dorbs boxes are solid.
Yeah.
They're solid.
Mm-hmm. And something else that they should get back, the Hikaris. They
Yeah,
just
what
kind
happened
of
to the
gave up
Hikaris?
on the Hikaris. And also, I'm kind of getting into the Wacky Wobblers. Not a lot.
A little bit, yeah.
It's only 2 sets that I won. I actually found one. I actually wanted. I didn't think the guy was going to take my offer. And he did.
Masters of the Universe set.
Masters of the Universe, the whole set. And I just threw it out there.
Yeah.
A number. And I was like, oh, he's not going to take it. I'll just throw it out there because he said, or best offer.
Sure.
I lowballed it. And he accepted. He accepted. So I was like, wow, I was really shocked.
That's because you're blessed. Everything works out for you.
Yeah.
It does.
And now is one more Wacky Wobbler set, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles set. I did see it, and I'm tempted to get it because it's the whole set. And I like buying things like that in lots.
Yeah.
Because to me, it just feels like I'm getting a deal.
Yeah, well, and you can, and that's a tip. And I've got a video coming up soon, like 10 tips for collectors, and that is on the list. It's like sometimes it's just you can score a lot better in a lot than you can with trying to buy individuals. Yeah,
and I look on eBay every so often, and if I can find a lot, because I bought another one, Hikari set.
Yeah,
on eBay.
Great deal on that one.
And that was a great deal, and then it was 2 extra pieces in there that wasn't Hikari's, and I was like, oh, what's this? I don't think I'm gonna like it. I'll look at it when I get it, and then I actually like it. So that's something
There's
else.
Kid Robot, the deluxe ones.
Yeah, it was 2 Kid Robots in the lot I got. So you do good. But back to Funko. Sorry, I got off track there a little bit. But they have other lines that they could get back into. The like I said, the Hikaris. There's a lot of things that they could do with the Hikaris, and they just kind of dropped off.
Yeah, and they're making the short ones, the Hikaris that look like Pops,
the little mini ones.
The 2-packs.
They are
like they got the New York Comic Con's got the Mickey Mouse ones, yellow and red or something. And it's like, well, what happened to the big ones? Because those were actually limited.
Yeah.
The numbers on it. You know what you're getting. With this stuff, you don't know what you're getting. Even with the Comic-Con exclusives, just because something exclusive doesn't mean they're not going to make a million of them.
Yeah.
We discovered that with Peppermint Patty.
Yeah.
And with the Great Gazoo. If you remember the Great Gazoo one, I was thrilled to find that when it hit Barnes & Noble. And then what was it? Not even, I think 3 weeks ago we were in Barnes & Noble. They were cutting open a fresh case of these things.
Yeah.
4 of them in the box. I'm like, what the hell? They're still getting them. They're still getting them. It's supposed to be a convention exclusive. How many of these damn things did you make? And it just undercuts any potential for value. I'm not collecting them for value, but it's nice to know that it's going to be worth at least what you paid for it 10 years from now, not less.
And that goes to another point about Funko. When you buy these, okay, some of them, you'll see them in the store when they first come out, and they'll fly off of the shelves.
Yeah.
And then some of them you think, oh, this is going to go. So you buy it right away at full value. Let's say you get it at GameStop for, I think they're up to $12.99 now.
Yeah, it's like $11.99. Is
right.
that right? $11.99.
But then in 6 months, they're still at GameStop. And then, the price is coming down. It's $7.98. It's $5.98. It's on clearance for $3.98. So it's like, it's hard to gauge. Should I wait and see if it's going to go down, or should I buy it now? And then you feel kind of bad if you buy it right away and then it goes down. Yeah. But then you feel great if you buy it right away and then you don't see it in a month because okay, this one did fly off the shelves like I thought.
Yeah.
So I lucked up and I got it at retail instead of going on eBay or Amazon and finding it with a price that's raised.
Yeah, or ended up on a clearance table like FYE with those Warcraft.
Yeah, right. Like buy one get three free or something
Yeah,
like that.
and then it went to 90% and the table's still full.
Yeah.
Or GameStop, where they actually had to give them away. If you're if you're a GameStop card
Yeah.
holder, you got a coupon to get uh, a free
Free
pop.
pop.
But what they didn't tell you was that it was free only if it was a clearance one.
Well, it had to
And
have a value of less than $10.
$8.99.
No, it was 10.
Oh, it was $8.99, wasn't
Oh,
it? Or
whatever.
$9.99.
Yeah.
But whatever the value was, it was lower than their retail on the newer pops.
Yeah, so of
So
course it was something you didn't want.
you had to get something from the clearance. And I asked the guy, it's times like this, I wish I was filming absolutely everything. I should walk around with a camera on my shoulder. I asked the guy, I was like, have you been getting rid of a lot of these? And he was like, no. He's most of the time when people find out that it's for a clearance pop, they don't even bother.
Because if it's on clearance for a reason.
For a reason.
It's
Nobody
on clearance.
wanted it.
Yes, exactly. Nobody wants that. You know, if people wanted it, it wouldn't be on clearance. Like those Zorn figures.
Oh, Jesus.
When is that leaving the stores? They need to mark that down to 99
And should have taken a picture in Hot Topic the other day. You saw the size of their clearance section?
The clearance section,
with the Funkos?
it was
God,
huge.
it was like about half the size of their regular display of regular Funko Pops.
Yeah, it was huge. And a lot of stuff you just don't want. And it's like, and that goes back to what we talked about earlier, overproduction. Not just of characters, but of the product. Like back to that Zorn figure. What, the Life of Zorn, or
I think that's it, isn't it?
Yeah, something like that.
We don't watch it.
Yeah, but it's a figure.
Yeah.
But you go into every store, Barnes and Noble, Walmart, GameStop, they're there. In Hot Topic, it's a ton of them. And it's like, why did you make so much of that, but then so little of this other line?
It's like trying to create an artificial demand.
Yeah. And then you made this artificial demand for Zorn that did not take off.
And when that happens, you're in trouble. And I'll give you an example. The first one to pull this off. There's something else I was going to talk about here in the future, but I'll just throw you a bone here. Mcfarlane Toys. Most of you know what Mcfarlane Toys is. He was the artist who worked for Marvel, got involved in Image Comics, and made his own action figure line. Spawn he started with. He took the concept of creating an artificial demand from the comic book world, who, by the way, got it from trading cards. Because trading cards started at first, then it went to comics. And I'm talking about how they have all these variant covers, started in the early 90s. He was the first one to really do this with action figures. And he had variant colors or backgrounds on the same damn figure in the Spawn line. People scrambled for them. They were flying off the shelves. Look them up now. Malbolga figure, okay? I promise you, in the mid 90s, I could get over $100 for one easy. Because I used to do a lot of conventions and shows and sell a lot of stuff in the 90s. And if you look it up now, you can get one for less than its original retail value on eBay, and that includes the shipping. Because the novelty wore off. People got sick of it. And it realized it was way more of these things than they thought.
Yeah. And that reminds me of another thing that Funko does, and they started and other people picked it up. This blood splatter.
Oh, Jesus.
All they did was take a regular pop, and splattered red paint on it.
Yeah.
And said it was blood
exclusive.
splatter.
It's a PX exclusive.
And then charge you $3-4 more and put a like Barnes and Noble, Hot Topic, GameStop exclusive.
You see
blood
that
splatter.
You see that more often at FYE though.
Yeah, but now
they get a lot of PX
you
stuff.
have custom companies.
Customizers.
Everybody does this. They just take a plain old pop, throw some red paint on it. Oh, it's blood splattered.
Yeah, blood splattered.
Slap
Bert
a
and Ernie exclusive.
And it's like, at least, okay, like some figures, maybe the only one that I like that Funko did on purpose that made sense was Carrie. Carrie figure has the blood draining down her head.
Yeah,
which makes
from the
sense.
final scene.
Right, because they put the pig's blood in the
Bucket of
bucket
blood.
and dumped it
That's
on her.
right.
That makes sense. Okay.
Or
Because
the chase variant of John Wick.
I didn't see the chase variant of
You have the
John Wick.
John Wick figure.
I have the
But
John Wick, but not the chase.
he's splashed with blood, and he looks kind of beat up.
Right.
Yeah.
What in the chase?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think he's beat up. Correct me if I'm wrong. I know he's blood splattered. I don't know if he looks beat up or not. I'm trying to remember.
Yeah, but it's like, at least put some effort in it. Not every character needs blood splatter. Negan has blood splatter. Carol, Maggie, on Walking Dead figures, and then you have other figures from other lines. Hey, throw some red paint on this blood splatter. Put a sticker on it and charge it $2 more. And then these companies do it, or customizers, and slap a sticker and sell it on eBay for $50.
And then exclusives and chases aren't that different. You know,
that's
it's
another thing.
Like the Krampus that's coming out. The evil Santa character, Krampus. There's 6 of them. There's a regular figure, and then there's a chase, and then there's like 4 variants, but they're all the exact same mold in a different paint scheme. There's no variation in the mold.
That's like the foot soldier that's coming out, that 8-bit,
the pixelized,
16-bit or
yeah,
whatever.
8-bit pixelized foot soldiers, 5 of them.
Yeah, but they're just different colors.
It's different colors. It's lazy.
It's nothing. Yeah, it's very lazy, and it's no imagination involved. It's like, oh, we don't know what to do, but we want to put out product. So let's just change the color. And I do have one. It's a wrestling figure. I can't remember the name of it. It came from FYE. But the only difference between
Chris Jericho?
I think it was Chris Jericho, was the color of the underwear and the boot laces.
The laces were different, and that's the difference between the exclusive and the regular figure.
Yeah, and
it lacks
my
imagination.
Foolishness, because I bought it, but still, it's like.
And then she gets it home, and she was like, "Hey, wait a minute, look at this." Or like the Touche Turtle. I know you're not familiar with that one, but the Touche Turtle, his chase variant, he's wearing a necklace. And I'm like, otherwise, you really can't tell the difference. You can't even see the figure, because I wish I had him here to show you. And that's something that gets me about the Pop sometimes too, is the little cutout extends so far, because Touche Turtles goes to about here. You can't even see the figure. I want to be able to see the figure inside the packaging. I know a lot of people, they run out of space and they start turning them like this, and then you're just looking at the box. I want to be able to see the character. You know, I like to be able to see the character. And the way that it's formatted, you look back, and the way they blend in, you don't know what's what. But you can look over at the other shelves, and you can see a lot of variation, even in characters that are in the same boxes, like these Inhumanoids that I'm pointing at right here. I think that they blend together too well. So when you back up, it's like, what am I looking at?
Yeah.
So, I don't know. What do you think? That's a lot to absorb. You know, it's a lot. You know, it sounds like we're complaining, but really, it's more like a challenge. So, you know, there's things that could be done better. There's places where they could slow things down. There are places where they could pick a few things up before they bite off more than they can chew.
And I think they already bit off.
Yeah, I mean, they got the Funko store. It's like there's
they're making like T-shirts and
water bottles and lanyards
and the skateboard.
Oh, that's right. They got the skate shop stuff too now.
Skateboard and now they got those drinking cups, the mugs and the coffee cups.
Yeah, well, they had the mugs for a little bit, but yeah, they got the
coffee head.
I got a Snoopy one.
Yeah, the mug head or whatever it's called. So they're branching out. I think they're starting to wear themselves a little thin.
Yeah, because we like them. We like the Funko Pops.
Yeah, and I'm not going
to stop. I like the Pops.
Selecting.
I like the Dorbs. I like what they've done with some of it, you know.
The Dorbs?
Yeah, I like some of the Dorbs. Some of the Dorbs are okay.
Nice. I'm not a big Dorbs.
Yeah, I've got some like my Masters of the Universe Dorbs.
Those were nice.
It's a nice set. I've got almost the whole set. I've had a really hard time with it because many of the pieces, and that's another one where only 4 of those characters are actual regular retail characters.
Everybody's an exclusive.
And there's like 10 more that are exclusives or chases. And how do you track all that down?
eBay.
And if you want to pay a fortune for it.
I know.
And like and that was one of my biggest complaints is that faker. Could never get him. Couldn't find him anywhere. He wasn't available online on the Walmart site. Couldn't find him in the stores, but somebody had them because they're all over eBay for $50, $60, $70 a pop.
Yeah.
And I'm like, come on, give me a chance. It's hard to complete some of those sets.
Yeah, and that's I know I keep thinking of new things.
It's okay.
But then you go to these stores, like right now, I've seen a couple on Let Go Beastman that's supposed to be out on Thursday. People are already selling it on Let Go, and they have it physically in their hand.
Yeah, or so you can tell it's not on a shelf somewhere.
Yeah.
They're taking a picture somewhere in their home.
Yeah.
It's like, where'd you get Beastman?
Okay, it's not supposed to be on the shelf. And I actually went to a couple of Toys R Us looking. And I even asked the guy, I was like, hey, where is that?
And they don't know nothing in those stores.
What are you talking about? So it's like things that are supposed to come out, they don't come out when they're supposed to. And then you have people in the back, the stockers or the workers that know this stuff, and then they pull out what they want. So
they cherry pick it.
Never
I promise you that a lot of these stores, somebody's cherry picking.
Yeah.
Or that goes back to that guy that we talked to. I can't think of his name. I think it was Chris. The guy that had like 1,600 pops.
Oh, that guy.
Yeah, and he said that he only has 6 chases. He's never found any on the shelf.
I found one.
Yeah, she did find one.
Something I didn't want.
Yeah.
But I did find
Star-Lord.
Yeah, Star-Lord.
Star-Lord. But which I still have. But he never found one on the shelf. Never found a chase. He's only got 6. Every one of them that he got on the slide.
Yeah.
Through a friend of his
that works in the
at
store.
Hot Topic.
Yeah.
That he a little side deal that he worked out with the Hot Topic person. And so stuff's going out the side door. That's always happened, but it's since there's so much being produced by Funko, it feels like there's a lot more of it with them. Which brings me to another thing that irritates me a little bit is the inconsistency in pricing, anyways.
Yeah.
Because you go to Walmart and it's $8.97.
Yeah.
Then you go to Hot Topic and it's $12.50 if it's a regular pop, or you're going to pay $15.50 if it's like flocked or an exclusive.
Yeah.
Then you go to GameStop and it's $11.99. Then you go to
Barnes and Noble is
$9.99. They're not too bad.
Target is like $9.99.
Yeah, and then
Toys R Us is like $9.
Yeah, Toys R Us is $9.99. They're not too bad either.
Mm-hmm.
And then what's the other one? Box Lunch is $10.50, which it kills me.
FYE is crazy too.
Like FYE 13, is high. FYE.
13.
Yeah, I think so. But Box Lunch, I'm like, why is Box Lunch $10.50 and Hot Topic is $12.50? And they're the same company. It's Box Lunch is like the cleaner, less noisy version of Hot Topic, because the Hot Topic always seems like it's dark and messy and loud. They crank that music up so much.
Yeah.
But it just doesn't seem like there's a uniformity of price. But that's to be expected in a manner of speaking, because I've always seen that with like action figures and stuff going to different stores. It's more here, it's less there. But it just seems like the price range is so wide.
Yeah, it is a very wide. And then you go on Amazon and sometimes you can find it super cheap. But Amazon like to say that it's pre-order when it's out.
Or they send you the wrong thing.
I don't get a lot of problems.
I got that.
You're not a Prime member.
You know that happens. Still,
I'm a Prime.
I've gotten the wrong thing
so they treat me
before. But yeah, they don't treat you good when they pack stuff.
No, but they are better after I started complaining.
Yeah. This is the poor woman who got 5 pops and a C-clamp loose in a box from Amazon Prime.
Yeah.
A big old C-clamp floating around in there, busting the hell out of them when they were being delivered.
Yeah.
Thank you, Amazon Prime. No packing material or nothing.
No.
But that's how they do you. Anyway, like we were saying, we like collecting them.
Yeah.
And that's really why we're having the discussion. We're not trying to turn people off of collecting the Funko Pops. Bottom line, what I can tell you is just collect what you like. Don't try to invest in it. Don't try to buy them thinking, oh, this one's going to be worth something. It probably isn't. It probably isn't. But do it because you like it. Pick the stuff that you like. Be picky with it.
Yeah.
Be picky with it. And try to enjoy the hobby. You know, there's a lot of things to complain about. There's some things that are good to say about it as well.
Mm-hmm.
But there's a lot of negatives on it as well. But if there's more negatives than positives, it doesn't mean you have to just totally flush it down the toilet.
Yeah.
So, all right, what do you think? Do you have any pros or cons that you want to add? You can go ahead and put it in the comment section down below. Please like, share, and subscribe. Really, like, share, and subscribe. The more of you there are, and the more interaction there is, the more we can do here. So let us know what you think, and hope to see you again soon. Bye.
Okay, make sure you edit down.
Now I'm gonna put that one in the highlight reel.
Don't do that. I'll never do this.
I would never do that to you. I would never do that to you.